Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 7 Mexican Grand Prix. I'm F1 Union, your main commentator for tonight, and alongside me once again is Bramley at Lang. Bram, how are you tonight?
Pretty good. Happy to be back, of course, in Mexico, one of my favorite tracks. I'm hoping for a very good race.
Indeed, we're just waiting on a couple still to join. Seems like Chasmeister's not online yet, and I think Frosty Life just joined. So yeah, we're in Mexico City for round 19 of 22, the first race in the final four where the championship, at least for the drivers, can be clinched. The constructors still mathematically will carry on no matter what for Brazil next time out. But yeah, it's Mexico as Frosty has joined, but now he's retired. Don't know if there's a glitch there with him. Seems like he's struggling with internet issues, and we're waiting for Chasmeister to join. He'll be 13 tonight. It's just one of those where a lot of people on the same day unfortunately can't make it. But anyway, BRL Frozen then in the pit lane. Ollie, one of his nearest challengers for tonight. Lightan the same, and Sin Icon too. Ben 94, a lot rests on his shoulders tonight. If I can just get up the thing again. Taze can become world champion if he outscores Ben by 15 points. And obviously because Chaz isn't racing, he needs 4 points to outscore Chaz, which will be included if he outscores Ben. If Ben can keep the championship alive after today, then he needs to finish 4th. No matter what Frozen does, even if Frozen wins and gets fastest lap, as long as Ben is in the top 4, then the championship will carry on to Brazil. If he is not and Frozen wins, then Frozen is world champion. Or if Ben doesn't score and Frozen gets a podium, he's also world champion. But that also means if Frozen finishes outside the podium today, he can't be world champion. As for Chaz, he has to hope Taze finishes 9th or worse. And Lightan, the only way he can still remain is if he outscores Taze by 14 points. So here we go then, Lightan crosses the line to start his first flying lap then. Enable all this. Go, tires everyone out on the softs. Don't think Oren still in the pit lane, he might go on inters, but Lightan heading into turn 1 then, right over the curve there, kicking up a bit of grass there as he's really attacking all the curves on the exit of 3 now, right up to the line. It's invalidated because he went a bit too far off, struggling there for traction. Now Ollie heading into turn 1, also taking a lot of curb. Seems like these drivers are really trying to find as much time as they can. On exit this time doesn't invalidate Lightan. DRS open as Optic has now retired through the middle section. Seems like that's going to catch a few people out as Ollie finishes the first sector. Now through the slowest part of the racetrack, making sure not to invalidate as he goes off a tiny bit, somehow keeps it valid as he heads through the double right-hander. Now heading up to the bit where Optic retired. So that's already 2 people out as we'll wait for Ollie's teammate to give the signal for when he's joining. But yeah, he's taken the second sector pretty fine as Sin Icon sets a 1:16.8 for the first time on the board. And Ben 94 1.1 seconds off as Ollie through the middle sector, smooth as you like so far as Lightan gets out of the way into the stadium section. Little lock up there as Callum only half a second off Sin. Now on the final corner for Ollie. Not been the tidiest lap, especially the final sector, but across the line for Ollie, it's going to be a 1:16.5 to go 3/10 ahead of Sin, and so now he is on provisional pole.
Ben 94 right now, last of the pack, also on softs with a 1:18 flat. That's not a good lap time, probably a mistake in his lap, but Ben, of course, having to keep the championship hopes alive. And right now he's in 4th. He is not strong in qualifying. We have seen that before. He has really good race pace, and I hope we are seeing him higher up when Callum goes to P4 right now with a 1:17.852.
Indeed, as Chasmeister has joined then, he'll hopefully get in his car. And yeah, Frozen on his outlap about to start his first flying run. So Lightan has gone for another run, little bit of a slide out of the exit of 5. Seb heading through the middle sector now as Oren and Logan still in the pit lane. So we'll see what Seb can do at the end of sector 2. It's going to be a 57.4. We'll keep that in mind for future reference as he heads through the final couple corners. Once again, Frosty struggling with his connection. As Seb will head around the final corner now. A 16.5 is the time to beat. He has been great in qualifying this season, so he crosses the line now. It's a 17.0 to put himself P3, exactly 2/10 behind Sin. So quite big gaps we're seeing here. And yeah, if Cal has gone ahead of Ben, then Ben, like you said, Bram, qualifying has been his struggle this season. It's the race where he can come in better as Lightan goes P5. Now, what about Frozen? He's just started his lap then. So do you want to take us through this lap, Bram?
Sure. Now going to the main straight, recta principal through turn 1, the chicanes here. Turn so far, if very easy to invalidate on this exit, he doesn't. Early on the power, ears on. Now going to Asa del Lago, brake at the 100-meter board, really close to the curb. Well done, it's a purple sector 1 from our championship leader right now. Now going to Orkia, the hairpin. This is a really fun corner in my opinion to drive. Now going to the Asses, the hardest part in my opinion on the whole calendar to not invalidate. This game, you can take them entirely flat. And he does that. It's not the best, and it will be as purple sector 2, which is really surprising. Going to the stadium section now. For Rasol. Now here. This is a really difficult track for your traction, but he nails it. Our championship leader now going through the last corner. This was surely for provisional pole. Will it be provisional pole? Yes, it will be a 1:16.3 to 1, which will beat Ollie Stein by 2.5 tenths. Our championship leader has shown once again that he's very quick.
The master of pole positions in Tier 2 Season 7 and Tier 2 in general has put it back on provisional pole again by just over 2.5 tenths to Ollie, who's just over 2 tenths to Sin, who's 2 tenths ahead of Seb. So it seems like that's the kind of benchmark between the drivers. 3 tenths to Callum. Lightan, half a tenth off. Callum, 4 tenths off, dead on. And then Ben, 2 tenths off, who is on a lap at the moment. He's found 2 tenths in the first sector. And is that Ben? That is Ben, who's spun in the middle sector. I thought that was Oren, who's heading through the final sector now. But yeah, Ben, who was 2 tenths up, has to go again with just under 11 minutes left then. What about his teammate then? Oren heading through the stadium now, exiting it through the final corner. So easy to lose the rear, as you just want to get it across the line, but he has gone into the pit lane instead.
Oren, of course, going into the pit lane, but it wasn't a really good lap from the Mercedes driver, so it probably would not have been high. It probably would have put him even behind Ben 94. So the Mercedes drivers right now in qualifying here in Mexico are not going great.
Ollie Saint's setup feels really good. Wasn't like this in time trial. At the moment, P2 for him. As he's on his outlap, he will go again. As he's got, is that Frozen behind him? It is indeed. These two have battled it out in qualifying and the races recently. Would have been interesting to see what Ollie could have done in the first 5 races if he when he joined after round 6. He trails by I think like 100 points, so it would have been interesting to see what he could have scored in the first 5. But anyway, yeah, Ollie crossing the line then to start his second lap with 9 3/4 minutes remaining. Callum heading through the first sector now. He's found nearly 2.5 tenths, so that's good to get him with Seb. Chasmeister about to start his first run. Oh, no, it's not, because he's just lost it. Out of the final corner, and he will just head into the pit lane because of it. Told you it was easy to lose it, but not that late into the corner. Oren in the pit lane. Logan has just started his lap then. Frozen has gone again. So has he got enough battery? He has indeed. So he has been fueled for more than one run. Same tyres and everything. Has he found any more time? He's found nearly half a tenth. As Ollie heads through the middle sector now. Don't know what his first was, but he takes a wide exit there. But it's smooth as you like through the second sector. Looks like he's... Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't look quick. He's backed off. So what about Callum then? He crossed the line and only improved by just under a tenth. So those 2 tenths he found, he lost it somewhere. Lightan, exit of the corner, just about not invalidating again. Cal up by 8 tenths. So we'll see what he can do in the final sectors. He's got his teammate in front of him, who's going to cross the line first. But yeah, if Callum could improve by 8 tenths, that could get him potentially up to 4th. But he's lost the rear a little bit before the final corner. And can Frozen go any quicker across the line? Yes, he can. 16-1 now, 4 tenth advantage. What about Cal as he crosses the line? He only improves by 2 tenths. He lost so much time in the last.
Jaden,
It seems like that last corner is what's catching people out. Yes.
I have seen a message from the Tier 2 chat that it says it's gonna be raining. EXFL icon in chat saying rain in 5. Interesting to see.
Oh no. Oh, it is getting quite overcast. No wonder they're out this early, putting laps in. Oh, okay. Well, Logan put his car P3, only a couple hundredths behind Ollie. Lightan's gone P5, only 100th behind Sin Icon. And yeah, they might get one more run, but if the rain's coming, then yeah, the ending of qualifying is going to be cut short. Oren currently sitting P13. All him and Chazmeister needs is a lap time to get themselves at least 10th and 11th. So he's just done the first sector split. Ben, 7/10ths down on whatever lap he did. Don't know if this is a push. Oh, that's the wrong one.
It must be.
It seems like a push one, as he's half a second up in the first sector. That's better, as Ben is 1.9 seconds trailing. So he does need to find a lot of time. We'll stick with him as his teammate Oren just finishing the second sector, 57.7. Is now riding on board with the Mercedes, taking a lot of curb, not exactly hitting the apex into the second sector, but using all the curbs as he heads through the chicane now, taking it nice and easy, not making sure to invalidate. DRS on as he now heads up to the end of the second sector. So it's 57.5, 6/10ths up now. Now he really needs to attack the car into the final sector through the stadium section, the bit where people are messing up the most and losing the most time. As you can see, he's just trying to fight the car to stay facing forward through the final corner now. Once again using all the curb necessary, now taking the shortest route to the line for Ben 94. It's going to be a 17.3, which only puts him up to 8th. He's found 7/10ths, but it's not enough to get him into the top 7, 400ths off.
And I have heard a message from the race engineer of BRL Frozen that at the start of the race it will rain, so we will have a wet start.
I don't know how much they're interpreting the rain. Could be right, could be wrong, I'm not sure, but we'll take their word for it, though it will be a wet start. Now, pole position isn't exactly the greatest place. It's probably the worst pole position of the season to have at Mexico. You want to be second or third, where Ollie and Logan are at the moment, to gain that slip. But if it's raining, then it may be all right for Frozen. But Ollie has found 2/10ths in the first. He's only found a 10th in the middle. So let's see how close he can get this to Frozen's lap time. I don't think it'll be provisional pole at the moment. Once again, locks up through the final couple corners, but you never know how much time they can find in the last. But with that slide, as the rain's coming, the rain is here as Ollie's in the pit lane. That might be it. Sin Icon has crashed, but he's gone second. Only 3/10ths off, making sure he doesn't get disqualified here. But he is P2 at the moment. Right at the end there, Ben heads into the pit lane. With the rain here, that might be the grid. Oren heads in. Chazmeister will finish this lap to at least gain himself 2 places. Sin is out. That's it for him. And the rain came pretty sooner than we thought. As Chazmeister invalidates because of that slide. And he may still go out for another lap time to at least gain 2 positions. But they're all retiring now. No, Chazmeister will start this race from last.
By the way, how did Frosty Life and Optic retire?
Optic crashed in the middle sector on his first lap. Frosty's been having glitches, so when he joined, he left and it retired him. But he's back now.
That's
so
annoying.
Callum out on track, 68 thousandths down in the first as Frozen retires. He thinks he's done enough. I think that is enough for pole position for BRL Frozen. Callum 3/10ths down as the rain's only just going to get worse, I think. So they may as well all retire, save ourselves 4 minutes. Yeah, good from Icon right at the end to get onto the front row. And yeah, Callum's coming in, that's it for him. So Ollie, Lightan, Seb, Callum and Oren. There we go, Lightan's retired. If that's the grid, I may as well take a photo of it now, just in case of any restart.
Ollie, the only car out on track at the moment. It says Outlap. Why did he went out again?
Well,
it's gonna
I think
from in the rain.
He did find a 10th or 2 on his run before he came back into the pit lane. So even with it raining, we have seen the odd improvement, as it's only a little bit of rain at the moment. The track hasn't exactly been affected yet. As we're seeing Oren, I think, exit the pit lane now. Callum's out, so it's just these 2 left.
A really nice helmet though from Ollie in Haas. I like it.
Yes, Oren going onto the Inters. I knew this qualifying was missing something. And now we see it heading into turn 1 for Aaron. 1.6 seconds down. He will start the race from P10. I'm not sure if that is his best qualifying of the season, as he loses it on exit a little bit. But yeah, that'll be a top 10 start for him as Ollie rounds the final corner then. And it seems like he is going to go through this lap until he does exactly what his teammate did, as spins before he starts the lap. Ollie's retired. Now it's just Aaron.
Why did Chasmeister not go out again? Optic and Frosty both retired, so Chasmeister could have easily gained 2 positions there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he did that, but oh well. He starts last, he avoids any chaos if there is any, and Aaron, that's it. BRL Frozen takes pole position then. I think that's number 12 or 13, as Sin Icon on the front row. Ollie P3 with Logan alongside him, very close between them two. Then Lightan P5. So, it's all looking good for Frozen at the moment. P1 with Ben down in P8. If it was to finish like this, Frozen would become world champion. But we know Ben is better in the race. So we'll see what happens from here on out.
Right now, a really big surprise. Frosty Life down in 12th. He has been showing really good form lately, and now 12th is not ideal and not what the Dodge driver wants.
Yeah, unfortunate to retire right at the start because of glitches. But then we're all ready for the Tier 2 Season 7 Mexican Grand Prix then. 36 laps ahead of us, and it seems like we're going to be in for a wet start. I can already hear the rain, I think.
Let's hear the rain already.
Oh my god. A bit of rain. They under-exaggerated that. Wow. Okay. This is going to take a while to clear up.
Bro, this rain
Surely it's full wets.
This rain would actually put the Netherlands completely on the water. What the hell, that's raining? That surely is full wet. Now, Jaxa, the race engineer of BRF Frozen, also Tier 1 driver, and has won this Grand Prix in Tier 2 Season 5, says that it will probably be Inters.
It's Inters, they're all on Inters.
Looking at this, it doesn't look like Inters.
Okay, so I've seen the 7 icons. The first 5 are going to be this, and then the last 2 are dry. So, the last, 10 laps or so will be dry. If we get any safety cars, then we'll get closer to it. But right then, in case of any restart, we have the weather, but we hope not, as we hear it ticking down. 13 drivers on intermediate tyres. It's the Mexican Grand Prix. The 5 lights come on with Frozen on the left, Sin on the right. The revs rise, and it's lights out, and away we go here. Sin versus Frozen then, and we see Ollie struggling to get off the line as he's dropped a bit down, as Lightan's already up to 3rd, and now he's challenging Sin as Frozen leads them away. What a start from Lightan then, as he's in the slip of Frozen. He goes to the left. Can he go around the outside of the McLaren? They make slight contact. Lightan turns in. On the inside is the Mercedes of Ben as he gets spun nearly, and at the back is Frozen. The championship leader has been spun around. It's been a worst possible start for the championship leader. Lightan takes the lead ahead of Sin, ahead of Callum, Ollie, then Logan, Ben up to 6th. That was a mega dive into turn 1 between the top 2 in the championship, and it's left Frozen down in last, and now he's got to come back through the field. Lightan, as we're still seeing side-by-side action, as now Seb is down into P12 and Frozen gets ahead of him. He rejoins as he's down in last, as Ben gets ahead of Ollie, who they're still fighting wheel to wheel, heading into the second sector, and it seems like Ollie will come out on top. What a chaotic start. What a start from Lightan from 5th. And out of all that, Sin stays where he is in 2nd. Callum up to 3rd ahead of Logan, who stays where he is. Ollie down to 5th. Ben seems like he got such a good start, then sent it on Frozen, and Ollie, who were wheel to Lightan, who were wheel to wheels. Chasmeister drops down to 13th. So Frozen, not a great start for him. Did you see what happened, Bram?
Yeah, Ben just broke really late. There was no room. Don't know why he sent it there, and it was not a good attempt, and that will surely be a penalty from what I have seen. Of course, different PDs.
Here comes Sin Icon. Lightan lost the rear through the final corner, and that's allowed Sin Icon to take the lead because of Lightan's mistake. But for now. Light lap 1, he's going to be in the slip of Sin Icon. And will he try and take back the lead down the inside? No, Sin Icon takes the lead then of the Mexican Grand Prix ahead of Lightan, ahead of Callum, ahead of Ollie, who's now ahead of Logan, so he's coming back through the field. Ben in 6th, Optic 7th, just ahead of Callum. Going wide there is Frosty, as he can't defend from Oren, down to P10, and now he's in the way of Frozen, who's trying to get past him as Seb tries to maximise from this. And now Frosty trying to get ahead of the Aston Martin, but here comes Seb to try and have a move on Frozen. Will Frozen try the inside? Seems like it's a bit too far behind, so at the moment they stay how they are. Ben leading a massive trade here as Frozen trying to attack the Aston Martin. Seb on the inside can't quite do anything. Chasmeister falling ever further backwards, and they're all just trying to keep it on the road. The top 3 separated by 8/10. Don't know if you saw that, Bram. Lightan nearly lost out of the final corner, and that's what allowed Sin to get the lead.
And somebody's off. Oh, what the...
As Frozen is ahead of Frosty, and yeah, Optic dropping down the order.
Did you not see that?
See what?
On my screen, Frozen just overtook Frosty Live by just going underneath him.
Oh, that kind of thing, right. As Seb is ahead of Optic then. Optic has wing damage. As Sin Icon there, nearly a second clear of Lightan, who's under pressure from Callum then. Right, biggest gainer at the moment is Callum from 7th up to 3rd, but he's not quite close enough for a move on Lightan. Optic 5 seconds for speeding. As Callum not close enough for a move on Ben, but here comes Frozen on Oren, and Oren just keeping ahead for now in P8, but the glitch there. Frost is staying ahead of Seb just for now, but Seb will get the better exit as Oren's been spun. There was contact between Frozen and Oren, don't know what happened there, but Seb stays behind Frosty.
And the incident in turn 2 was that Oren wasn't going really fast through those corners, and Frozen just hit him from behind.
Did he? Interesting. Yeah, so that's both top 2 under investigation now. As yeah, one Mercedes is under pressure from a McLaren, and the McLaren has got past Oren due to that spin. So Frozen, after being last after turn 1, up to P8. One second then between Sin Icon and Lightan, 7/10 to Callum, as Seb has got past Frosty for P9, but Frosty trying to attack on the inside. Seb stays ahead for now, goes wide himself to Seb to get a penalty, and I think Frosty got a warning too. You can see the heavy wind of the rain here. Ollie fastest lap, he's coming back through the field after not a great start, as now he's on the back of Callum for P3, and he pulls out to the inside as Frozen now gets past Logan, who's into the pit lane. That's a really early stop, but these inters can wear away quickly. Ollie on the inside for P3, and Callum doesn't fight it, and Ollie up into 3rd. You can see how much they are struggling on exit, as Lightan now has Ollie to deal with. Ben, Callum, Frozen. If Frozen catches up to his teammate, there won't be any contest there. So Logan pits again. He didn't get damaged, did he? Whatever the case, he's down in P12. He pits early. We'll see what that happens later on.
I have seen front wing flying through the S section with could have been a rapper front wing. That's definitely one opportunity that could happen. It wasn't that trade, to be fair, so it probably happened in the S section if he got damage.
BRL Frozen 10 seconds off the lead then. So he was wheel to wheel with Lightan, who made an incredible start. As Ollie now gets a 3 second, he's been pushing his luck a little too much, and that's really going to hamper him. But it's Mexico, everyone could be having a penalty by the end. He's on the back of Lightan, who was on the outside as he's struggling so much of Frozen heading into turn 1. Lightan did then turn in. They were pretty much locking wheels, but it seemed all fair. And then Frozen, Ben on the inside made Frozen have not really anywhere to go, and that led him to spin. As here we go then, Ollie gets past Lightan before they even start the lap, as Ollie is up in a P2. And then Lightan quickly to the inside, blasting his battery to try and get back ahead of the Haas, who's got no ERS left, so this could be Lightan's chance to get back into second. Frozen fastest lap, down the inside, Lightan and Ollie. Ollie goes wide and off the track, and now he's pretty much spun nearly, as he has, and it's lost him all his hard work. Lightan back up in a second, Ollie back down into 4th.
Right now, the gap from leader to second is already 2.5 seconds. Sin Icon in this league of his own today. Yet to win a Grand Prix since his return back into EXFL. Of course, has seen a lot of pace the last 2 seasons here in Mexico. Of course, the last season having an amazing fight with me. But right now, he is living it in almost 3 seconds now.
Sorry to embarrass you, Bram, but Sin literally won last week.
Wait, what?
He won. I was literally about to say, Sin Icon, the winner of the United States Grand Prix last week, looking to make it back-to-back victories at the moment. So
really
2.5 seconds to Lightan, 1.6 to Callum. Ollie has to come back through it again. 3 seconds to Ben, 1.1 to Callum, who's only 4/10 ahead of his teammate. He's going to be letting him go pretty soon. Seems like he'll be on the straight before Taze has the next car of his championship rival of Ben going at it. Oren going off there, fighting Frosty for P9. Chaz really struggling there. We'll look further then. The two McLarens, Belly Eddie separating them. Same ERS, Billy. But there we go then. As they start lap 6, we're 1/6 of the way through the race, and there is the swap for the two McLarens. It'll happen in a minute. Looking further front, Optic gets a 3-second at the back. And yeah, into turn 1. It seems like Cal is still ahead of Frozen then. So at the moment, you'll stay ahead, and Ben watching this unfold, but he can't quite have the pace to gain on that 3-second gap on Ollie, who's trying to gain back ahead. Oren now gets ahead of Frosty as they make slight contact, but it seems like Oren has got the move done. No change between the two McLarens yet. Oren losing the rear a little bit. That might allow Frosty to get back into 9th. Still got every driver in this Grand Prix at the moment. And does Frosty try a send on Oren? Not quite. So Oren will live to fight in P9 at the moment. It's onto the grass there nearly. Is Taze Frozen. The two McLarens leading the Constructors' Championship by... It's a healthy lead, like 40 points. It can't be won today, but it sure is looking promising as their nearest competitor, Alfa Romeo, only has the one car of Seb behind both of them. Chaz, unfortunately, not racing today or next week, I don't believe. But yeah, Frozen looks like he'll size up a move on the straight this time round. But Sin Icon, at the moment, looking good. We know the rain will clear up soon, so do they take the inters all the way? As we got a yellow. It is... Who was that? It was
I think it was Logan.
Back 3. Yeah. As here we go then. Vero Frozen is ahead of Cal now, and he slips in ahead. And now next up, 1.8 seconds down the road, is Ben. But here comes Cal to challenge again on Frozen, but he gets left not really much room to try and get back ahead. So I don't know if they are communicating, but it's left Frozen back ahead. And now Frozen goes off to challenge the guy who put him in this position. We haven't really seen much between Ben and Frozen. Besides when they're out 1 and 2, we saw it in Britain, we saw it in Italy. As we've got a yellow, and it's Oren, because he spun at the same place where he had a collision with Frozen, and that's lost him P9 to Frosty. Was Logan ahead of Chaz? I don't know. Anyway, Lightan, keeping the gap constant, has gained a couple tenths, has left Callum to struggle with Ollie. Let's look at ERS. Yeah, Lightan's got a lot. Ollie's got nothing. Ben has got a lot. Frozen hasn't got as much. As Frozen's right behind Ben. What's happening, Bram?
Ollie tried to overtake Callum, but back out last second, but he almost lost his car by doing that. He's safe and he's still on the back of the Red Bull, but it's extremely close. Ollie just being a lot quicker, but just...
Ollie! So Ollie trying to have a move on Callum. Here comes Frozen then to try and have a move on Ben. Fastest lap for BRL Frozen, using all his battery, as is Ben, to stay ahead. They know this could be a crucial move, and it seems like Ben will stay clear ahead of Frozen for now, and it seems like Callum will stay ahead of Ollie for now on lap 8. But this is getting close with no ERS for Ollie, and Frozen blasting his to try and get ahead of Ben. We know Taze has to outscore Ben by 15 points today, and Ben needs a top 4 finish no matter what Frozen does to keep alive the championship. And here comes Ollie then, round the outside of Callum. Can he make this stick? He goes wide to give him enough room. What a move from Ollie to get himself in a P3. And now Callum will try a switch, but Ollie, losing the rear a little bit, stays ahead as his teammate Chaz has caused a safety car. because he
Safety car
spun and
number
lost his
uno.
front wing on the start-finish straight. That is going to completely destroy Sin Icon's gap. That is going to allow Optic, Chaz and Logan to get back into this. And Chaz, after losing it around the final corner, the impact of losing his front wing has caused that safety car just moving out of the way. As we'll see, what do the drivers do? And considering Optic's in the pit lane and his teammates coming round. Oh, Optic gets rid of that 5 second, that's good. Oren gets a 3 second now. They're still changing his wing as Sin is heading into the pit lane. There we go, he exits now, but will Sin be held up? He had a big enough gap to hopefully be alright, but will he come in anyway? He doesn't. Lightan, oh, but is Sin going to quickly dive in? No, Callum gets a 5 second for exceeding track limits. Don't know what's happened there. So Lightan's in, Ollie's in, Callum's in, everyone is pitting, apart from Sin Icon. Ben in, Frozen in, Callum stays out because he doesn't want to be held with his teammate. And they're all going on to another set of inters that can hopefully take them to the dry period. Ben's being held! Oh, because they're changing his wing. So he did make contact with, he did get damage with Frozen into turn 1. That's lost him behind Frozen and Seb. That is a crucial wing change then, as now BOL Frozen is ahead of Ben. Both under investigation. Ben for turn 1, Frozen with his contact with Oren at turn 2. Which will put a bit of uncertainty at the end of the race, considering where they finish. So, third all the way down to 9th on new tyres. Logan stays out on those tyres he already pitted onto up to 9th. Frosty, Oren on new tyres. Chaz on old tyres. He's still got no wing, I don't think.
Sin Icon staying out though. Is that the correct shout?
I really don't know. The inters degrade so quickly that... And he had a shot in Singapore. I don't know.
Even then, he could have gotten a free pit stop. Same with Callum. Now Callum actually gained positions, but Sin stayed there, and now he's on way all the tyres. It's not, in my opinion, not a good strategy.
Unfortunately for Cal, he is going to have to serve that 5 second. He can't go the entire race on those inters, they'll be dead. As Chaz does pit, changes his wing, down in P13, nearly lapped. So yeah, Lightan could see himself as the new race leader soon, unless Sin decides now is a good time to pit, which it isn't. You are risking your own race really if you decide last second to cut across here into the pit lane and get a warning.
And we have gotten confirmation from Ben94 that he indeed hit BRF Frozen on his own, that it did not involve any cars, and that will probably be a 5 second time penalty. So yeah. Right,
yeah, he says, Frozen, so sorry mate, focused more on the cars ahead than the apex, so it was a misjudgment from Ben. Can happen, but yeah, in this stage of the championship, it's a costly one. But it has made Frozen not out in P1 with Sin. It has made his race more of a comeback drive, which at the moment is going well. He's halved the grid. And he may gain another 2 from Sin and Cal, who will pit potentially soon. So Frozen is in a net P4 at the moment. And P3 really if Ollie gets a penalty. But if Frozen gets a penalty for what happened with Oren, then you never know. And Tay saying at least you apologised, fair enough, he respects it. So good respect between the top 2 in the championship. You love to see it. Obviously we don't want to see the top 2 in any championship come together, but it does make for quite memorable moments. But anyway, Sin Icon then leading the Grand Prix. It will come in next lap I believe, so Chazmeister, Optic, Oren and Frosty need to get their arse in gear. Callum 10 laps on those inters, same with Sin Icon. Yeah, I don't really understand why they've stayed out. I kind of understand Cal because he didn't want to get held with Frozen, but surely you'd want to be down in 8th, right behind the pack than 2nd with, I guess, 40% old tyres. And again, wear around here isn't massively bad, I don't think. Oh, okay, so the thing with Taze may have been with lag or ghosting with Oren. So that could be fine, but we'll see after. Right, just Optic and Chasmeister then. Close action here as Logan trying to catch the pack here. Frosty not getting ahead of him. Making sure to brake in time. As Oren locking the... Oren doesn't have ABS on, wow. Okay. Right, it's the top 11 of core. Optic should be fine. Chasmeister, I do not know if he will catch, considering he's the one who caused this safety car. He may not even catch the pack. Right, we're approaching a third of the way into the Grand Prix. And yeah, that's the point. If Frozen and Ben are clipping what happened in their race, maybe Oren, and it's uploading, that could make their Xboxes struggle a little bit. So you really got to be on your feet for whatever could happen. But yeah, Frozen will be right on Callum. Ollie will be trying to challenge Lightan, but Lightan will be trying to make his way past the two ahead. Safety car will be in this lap, I believe. And if it's not, there we go. Yeah, Optic may just catch them, but Chasmeister won't. That's really going to affect him, because he may be sticking to a Delta now. Yep, Optic can see the top 11 in front of him. He's caught them. All good. And has to move out the way there of Oren. He's caught them way too quickly. But it's all good there. Chasmeister just won't be close enough. So we'll see Sin Icon lead them away as the safety car heads into the pit lane now. As Lightan just trying to give himself a bit of a gap to Callum. As we'll see, coming around the final corner then, Sin Icon will lead them away to resume the Mexican Grand Prix. We reach a third race distance, and now Sin Icon leads them away. Cal, then Lightan with Ollie on the back of him, then Callum, and then Frozen, and then it seems like Seb is under pressure from Ben now on the inside. As here we go then, in the slip. Do we see any position changes? We do! It's Callum taking the lead into turn one ahead of Sin Icon. Lightan watching this. Ollie locks up Callum, then Frozen, and then Callum comes back under pressure from Sin, who tries to switch now round the outside, and through goes Lightan on Callum. He takes the lead momentarily, now drops down to P4 as Ollie gets out as Frosty's out somehow, as now Callum has dropped down to 4th as he breaks enough, as it's a safety car again.
Surely Sin Icon and Callum will now have to pit.
Surely, yeah. But yeah, the only change is that Callum has lost 2 places. Oh, and Ben's got ahead of Seb. But yeah, something happened with Frosty into the first chicane, and that's led him to retire from the race to cause a second safety car, back-to-back safety cars.
Another one.
Lightan saying Sid is so lucky. Apparently it was Oren's fault, maybe, for the thing with
yeah, Oren
Frosty.
already apologised, so I think it's his.
But that was quite a battle. Callum takes the lead, and then he messes up the exit of one. Sin comes back at him. Lightan tries a switch, and Sin just stays ahead. But surely, like Bram said, they have to pit. Actually, this helps Chasmeister, because he actually does catch the pack this time.
He can finally catch up. My go.
Oh.
But if Sin Icon and Callum do not pit this lap, and Logan maybe too, their tyres will be like half a second to a second slower. Yeah, and Sin Icon, as soon as I say that, goes into the pit.
Don't speed.
And Ollie almost spins underneath the safety car.
Does Chaz decide to pit again? You never know. What's he doing? There we go. Right, Callum in. Serving his 5 second, that's smart as well.
Not risking it this time.
Sin Icon, who was leading this Grand Prix, has dropped down to 11th now due to Wait, what? Why is he on hards?
What?
Okay. So he's screwed.
Has he lost his mind there?
Nah, sure. Unless the raid is going to stop now, which after oh my god, it was 5 icons, so surely we'd have to wait until like lap 25. But 12 laps earlier than that, he's put the hards on. I know they can go to the end, but they are going to be so cold. What? Okay. I mean, he's going to get eaten by Callum at the restart, but yeah, I don't really see the logic in that one. it is quite funny to see some of these guys do some of their strats. To see if there's any reaction from Sid, who is.
It makes it interesting, to be fair.
You can Ben saying going for hards is crazy. Alright then, safety car will come in next lap at the maximum the lap after. Yeah, Sid Icon needs to make sure he keeps this thing at least on the road.
Yeah, like Sin Icon now on the hards is always as crazy and when he goes onto the inters when it's dry.
He has the chance now, as he goes off there, he has the chance now to pit back onto inters, which could save his race. It only loses him a place, so if you're listening, Sid, go back onto inters now, because I don't think it's going to work out for you.
Just for trying, though.
Does he come back in? Does he save it out? He's sticking with it. He is going to be on hards.
Sin, man.
Oh, okay, well. Time for the restart, and Sin's already 10 seconds behind. He has to make sure when he catches them he can brake in time. Brake! Okay. Alright, Chazmeister found himself in last for most of this race, up into the points then. Then Oren, who might see a penalty coming his way at the end. Optic up to 8th after struggling for a lot of the race. Logan in 7th after pitting earlier on. Seb in 6th. Got caught out at the start, heading into this corner at the end of sector 1, turn 4. Ben back up in the 5th after a clumsy turn 1. Frozen back up in the 4th after also a clumsy turn 1 with Ben. Callum up in 3rd, good start from him. Ollie up to 2nd. Wasn't a great start, but he's come back through the field even after a few mistakes. There's seen him get a 3 sec. And now Lightan, after a brilliant start, due to Sin staying out in the first safety car, leads the Grand Prix. He's won 3 races so far this season, has Lightan, and a 4th could be coming his way to put himself second this season of most joint second this season of most wins. Obviously Frozen has 5, Chaz has 4, so Lightan will be equaling Chaz, and Lightan, like I said, needs to outscore Frozen by 14 points to keep himself in the championship, but he's 90 odd behind. It's just survival at this rate. But at the moment, he will be outscoring Frozen by 13. Who was fastest lap? Yeah, 13. So at the moment, he would be out of it. But anyway, safety car's coming in then. Sin Icon is the one to look at then. Not the one to watch, but he is in P11 on hards. So we'll see how far he can stick with them. As Lightan will lead them away then. Ollie will be keen to get ahead of him, as he's pretty much pushing Lightan to get on with this restart, as Lightan, leaving it right until the line, has decided to go now. Callum, not the greatest getaway, Frozen right on the back of him, as Sin is already backing off. I don't know if Callum will get a penalty, but Ollie takes the lead then ahead of Lightan, and Ben is ahead of Frozen. Ben has caught Frozen lacking there, and will he try and move onto P3 as we're seeing the top 2 battle? Round the outside goes Lightan to try and get the lead back ahead of Ollie. Wheel to wheel there as Ollie just stays ahead. Ben ahead of Frozen on the outside. They're wheel to wheel, and Frozen comes back round the outside as Lightan loses the rear, and now he loses a place to Callum ahead of into P2. Ollie leads the race. Lightan on the inside of Callum and stays ahead. Frozen versus Ben into turn 4. And round the outside is Seb now, as Ben has dropped down Frozen, trying to have a battle with Callum for P3. And they've stayed how they are pretty much. A hard pot from Ollie, who takes the lead of Frozen. Now, on the exits, we've got a yellow at the back. It's Chazmeister. Frozen sees himself up in a 3rd now. Across, that's going to be a warning. Frozen's lost it! And he's gone into the wall! And Seb gets a penalty as Frozen's made a mistake. As he nearly rejoins in front. Bit of a dangerous rejoin, but no contact, and I don't think it's luckily any damage for the McLaren, but the championship leader making mistakes. An action-packed opening restart, wheel to wheel. Optic and Cow down the inside. Optic leaves in the space, goes off himself a little bit, and now they're wheel to wheel as we're seeing Oren moves everywhere. Ben gets ahead of Seb, just about. Seb gets ahead of Ben, and Ollie, out of all that, after getting another penalty, leads the Grand Prix ahead of Lightan, Callum, then Seb, then Ben. Optic ahead of Callum, ahead of Frozen, who's got to do it most all over again. Logan on the back of him. Oren losing out as Sin on the hards is just struggling here. There was so much happening as Ben gets back ahead of Seb. Callum gets ahead of Optic. We've seen some good moves here. Wow. Did I miss anything, Bram?
Yeah, Frozen did not hit the wall. Sin
No.
Icon almost
How did
spun
he
on the
save that?
restart.
Oh wait, so Callum didn't get an illegal overtake, so it must have. So even the game knew what Sid shows was pretty poor. But he has got a 3-sec now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so half the drivers have penalties, 2 of which have 6 of Seb and Ollie. As going off there in the background is Optic to allow Frozen back him into 7th. As soon as he catches up to Cal, it will be 6th. But the top 5 quite a bit away. So yeah, Frozen, who lost it where Magnussen did, has somehow kept it out the wall. So that's a good save from him to not end his race like he did in Japan. But yeah, Ben under pressure from Seb now in P4 with no penalties. Callum just surviving. I don't know how he stayed in 3rd. I don't know how Laitan stayed in 2nd after he lost the rear. Yeah, Ollie got the lead into turn 1 as Laitan really struggles with that final corner. Yeah, Laitan lost the lead to Ollie. Then they were wheel to wheel. Laitan lost the rear. Callum got ahead. Then Laitan got back ahead. And then Frozen was battling Ben, who caught him on the straight. And then Seb was battling Ben as Frozen got ahead of him. And then tried to battle Callum. And then through the 2nd sector, he just lost it. And is seeing himself down in 7th now. Oren, something happened to him. Chaz, again, something happened to him. And Sin, well, it's self-explanatory. Right, Laitan, 7/10 to Ollie. Seb, 4/10 to Ben. Frozen 1.5 to Callum. We're approaching half race distance, even with 12. It's been an action-packed Mexican Grand Prix as the rain will ease up due to 2 safety cars as early as, I'd say, 5 laps. I'm really not sure when, as Chaz gets his 2nd penalty. So 54, 40. We know Ollie tends to blast his battery. Was Ollie saves it, but he loses the lead due to it. And now he's going to drop down to 5th as he rejoins Ollie from the lead of the race. Has had a moment, but he has saved it from going into the wall. And now Laitan leads the Grand Prix ahead of Cal and Ben, Seb, and now Ollie just ahead of Cal. Mega save, but it's cost him so much. But he's lucky to still have a front wing. So that promotes Ben up into P3. At the moment, with Seb and Ollie behind him with 6 seconds, a 5-second penalty for Ben would still keep him ahead, but Seb is keeping him under pressure. Seeing some great camera angles here from the helicopter. But yeah, Laitan now leads the Grand Prix, and Callum having a really good race up in 2nd now, but with no ERS like Ollie. No ERS for Seb, that's for sure. 5%. Well, Frozen 50. He's leaving Optic and Logan. Those tyres are really old for him. He's just dropping off. 14 laps. So the newest are Cal's up in P6. So that's good for him. Sin Icon already 40 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, I think we can conclude that his strategy with the hard tyres is not working.
You never know, he could come back right just about into it. Right, 3-second gap nearly for Laitan as Callum. They're really struggling through the 2nd sector, and he's just keeping on the road. At any moment, any of these lot could just have a little twitch and lose it. Here comes Seb then on the back of Ben with no ERS. Ben has enough to stay ahead. This is a corner they're really struggling with to get on the braking, as Seb just letting Ben know he's there and will size up a move, but with what ERS compared to Ben. Ollie on the back of them too. Cal then Frozen, so we could be seeing a few moves here. Heading onto the straight, Ben goes wide. From Seb's POV, it nearly looked like he went off. But Seb using everything he has. Ollie also, and Cal just blasting his to keep ahead of Frozen. But Frozen's in the slip of his teammate, and there's no changes there. Optic comes in, speeds. That promotes Logan up into 8th. Frozen down the inside of his teammate. That was so committed, and now 3, 4, and 5 stay how they are, but Frozen is up into 6 millimeters between him and his teammate. Good trust there, and what a move from the championship leader to absolutely send it.
We are seeing Sin Icon just drifting around every single corner, but still not going in for inters. This man dedication, from winning the race to now almost losing the tyres every single corner. What a change in worlds.
So Sim will pit, and if he's lucky, he won't be lapped. So if there's another safety car, he can at least still salvage something, as he doesn't have any penalties, so could gain if there is a safety car to be at the end. Cal, even with newer tyres, just dropping behind the top 6 now. Ollie trying to challenge Seb on the straight for next lap. Ben seems like he's got a good enough gap. Chazmeister, another 3 second. Frozen now gets a 3 second, as the top 3 will be liking that. Callum just losing a couple tenths as Oren is off. Don't know if he has damage. Seems like it's fine. Just a simple spin. Right, here we go, onto the straight then. Seb has used up all his battery. Ollie, if he can use it enough, will try and get ahead. But he's not using it at the moment, so they'll stay how they are. No overtakes at the moment. A 5-car train, they're all sort of gaining on. Callum, as Optics out, he's crashed, and is that another safety car? Somehow it isn't, otherwise it would have happened already. But yeah, Optic has spun, as Chazmeister's left. See, Optic has crashed, but no safety car from it, which Sin Icon's really going to get annoyed by. His teammate out of the race, nothing happening from it.
Sin has finally given up on the strategy and is now back on the interest.
Frozen versus Ollie then. Wheel to wheel, Ollie has the inside line. Will he give him the room? If Frozen tries to go round the outside, Ollie defends and pushes him nearly off. Frozen on the inside, they come perilously close. They still manage to face forward, and Ollie defending for his life against Frozen stays ahead. That's a corner cut and a warning for him, and Frozen just has to stay behind for now.
Well, BRL
Ollie sliding. That allows Frozen to have a move around the outside again. Will he keep it planted this time? Will Ollie leaving the room? He does indeed. Frozen on the inside. They're perilously close. They're leaving the room. They're leaving the respect. Frozen loses the rear, and that allows Ollie to stay ahead just about. What a battle between these two on this lap. Cal watching this all unfold. And Ollie really struggling for traction here as he's lost a second to Seb.
We are seeing a lot of drivers, even on these intermediates with a better track than at the start, still struggling with a lot of corners. Not a lot of rain practice has been done by these lads. But yeah, no one has really had a massive incident, which is luckily enough. The biggest incident we have seen was probably the incident with BR Frozen. So at this moment, everyone is
round
still
the outside of Ollie. And he brakes later to try and get the move done. Round the outside goes Frozen. On Ollie, now he has the inside. What a move from Frozen. He did what Ollie did, but Ollie tries to switch back. Can he get back up down the inside of the McLaren? Frozen, like Ollie did, leaves in the room, and now they're going to go wheel to wheel, but inverted this time last lap. And now Frozen will have the inside line. This has been great so far. Can they carry it on? Ollie round the outside of Frozen. What a move from Ollie to get back in a 5th. What a battle between these two. It's losing them time, but Ollie doesn't care. He's back up in a 5th. What a move. As fastest lap from Sin Icon. Here comes Frozen then. Ollie goes defensive. Sin tries around the outside. Cal has got front row tickets for this. Ollie on traction. Here comes Frozen then back around the outside of the stadium. But now he's going to try the switch on Ollie. And now he's going to size up a move on the straight. And he goes off a little bit there. Loses the rear. Gets ahead of Ollie. Ollie late on the brakes. Into the final corner. Gets back ahead. Frozen just avoids the wall. Ollie still sticking ahead. These two are giving us an attempt at battle of the season. This is amazing between the two. But here comes Frozen then as we have a yellow of Chazmeister causing stuff in. As we have a safety car from it. Has Chaz caused... Oh my god. So that... Yep. It's exactly the... He is back. Sin Icon has been saved. What a battle between Ollie and Frozen. It's a shame that it had to end with a safety car, but it's better than ending with contact. Yes, Logan is on mediums. As yeah, Chazmeister, for the second time this race, has lost his front wing, and due to the impact, it has caused another safety car, the 3rd of the race. And now, because it is the crossover point, they could be all pitting for dries.
Sin Icon is really back into this.
It's good for McLaren. They can double stack and won't lose any time because Logan's 30 odd seconds behind them. So the top 6, all individual teams, will be fine unless any of them have damage. This brings that destroys Lightan's gap and brings Callum and them onwards back into this race. There have been a lot of great battles this season, but Ollie versus Frozen, you'd expect for the win. For P5 and P6, that was amazing in the wet. To give that much respect and room as well. I don't think they touched once as well, which is absolutely incredible between the two of them. That was amazing. Right, Laitan, what will he do then? 14 laps to go. It stopped raining, by the way, so yeah, they are going in. Oh, Callum nearly hitting the wall there. As Ben, Seb, Ollie, Frozen, yeah, they're all pitting. Now, what will they go on to? Are they all going to go on to mediums? You can see the yellow striped tyre for Laitan, and Callum, and Ben. Yep, seems like it's all mediums.
Yeah, but some people... Oh no, wait, that's just a glitch. Never mind. But some people are saying...
Everyone's coming in. Chazmeister, the only one on the Inters now. With
Chazmeister's
so
going really slowly.
He changed his wing, but he's back on Inters. So, interesting. At the moment, I think Inters are just better, but it won't be in the long run. So they stay how they are. No one changed. Wow.
just this race is wow. Everything.
Tased. Telling Sid Icon, if you pull this off, fair play.
I think he did not pull it off.
Yeah. But he's been brought back in with no penalties.
If Sin Icon still wins this race, that's definitely comeback of the season. It must be.
Okay, so Sin has 2 warnings. He got both of them on lap 2. So he is 1 warning away from penalty, but considering he got 2 in 1 lap. Debatable if any of those were unfair. Callum, drive-through penalty, falling far too back. So that's really ruined his race. Don't know what's happened there. And he can't serve that under safety car. He'll have to wait until we restart, which is really going to hamper him. This will allow Logan up into 7th. And I really hope he knows that and he doesn't pit now, as Chazmeister's out on the start-finish straight. As Frozen's ahead of Ollie, because Ollie's in the pit lane. Hang on, let's just check Chaz's car. Oh, can see a bit of debris there. Oh, wait, what? Okay, so Chaz has literally just given up. Okay. Yeah, they're all trying to avoid his car there.
Ollie's pitting.
Yeah, Ollie's pitted onto mediums again. Don't know why.
Oh, his AI pitted.
Ah, what, for the same tyre?
Yeah. By the way,
Icon, not the greatest strategy on my part.
Callum still 2nd. It's the best race I think we have seen from the Red Bull driver his entire EXFL career right now.
I mean, he's had like 5 races and he's had, I think, a podium or P4. So yeah, this is the highest he's ran. Unfortunately, even though, yeah, unfortunately because of that hard stint, Sin Icon may not even catch the pack. But he's still going to be pushing and trying. And unfortunately, if that is a mistake of Ollie going into AI and the AI pitting, that has lost him P5, P6 and P7. He will gain one of those back as Cal will have to serve his drive-through. But unfortunately that battle with Frozen will not continue. And that's given Frozen a bit of a lifeline there. Seems like safety car will be staying out 1 more lap, so that gives Frozen Sin the opportunity to catch.
He's still...
But it's going to be close.
He's still 36 seconds behind. What has he been doing?
At the moment, every driver is scoring points. As the track looks nearly dry, but you can still see the spray behind Laitan. They are going to be crawling for the restart. The track is still very much wet, and if you go offline, you could be staying there. Is Oren in? Yep, Oren sees... Oh, Sin, 3 second. He's been pushing. Right, so Oren, fair enough, because under these wet conditions, the tyre wear could exceed more than usual. And Oren has a cheap pit stop, really. He can pit back onto the same tyre, and which I guess is Ollie's advantage. And Oren, if he is to gain anything further, pits onto new tyres. Sin Icon then round the final corner as they're just finishing Sector 1.
Will be close.
Personally, I don't think he will catch, but I hope I hope Lightan holds them up enough that he does. Because that's the race since he pitted onto hards, it's been a bit of an agony for him. Yeah, they're not running enough to make the track dry. So in the next 11 laps, we're going to see fastest laps tumbling and tumbling. If any of these 11 get their race ruined by a spin or whatever, they can at least pit for softs at the end to try and go for it. But fuel is not going to be an issue now for these lot.
If somebody still runs out of fuel, I will be so cross at him.
Right, safety car's in. Oren will catch them. You can see the back of Ollie. Sin Icon. Whoa.
Sin is not catching. They Ruth.
Oren and Ollie as Oren catches them. Single file. They're going really slow here as Lightan keeping it dead 40 mile an hour before they get to the corner. And Oren and Ollie for some reason. Okay, Oren's now ahead of Ollie for some reason. Sin has caught them. Just about. He caught the pack. So Sin Icon, even with that 3 second, will be back into racing action and let the racing action commence with 10 laps to go. Lightan ahead of Callum, ahead of Ben, who's quite the gap ahead of Seb, ahead of Frozen, Cal, Logan, Ollie, who's back ahead of Oren as he's dropped back down to 10th. He's given the place back, and now they're blasting battery as Callum's already down to 60. Lightan using everything he has to keep hold of the lead into turn 1 then for the Williams as no overtakes at the moment. Sin Icon then already up to P8. Ollie down the inside on Sin Icon. Wheel to wheel, and Sin lets him go. Massive lockup for the Haas, who's back up in at 8th, but Sin Icon sees another car for the first time in 15 laps and is loving it. So at the moment, no one's close enough for any sort of move, but you can see how dry the track is getting already as Lightan leads them away. You can see a train behind Lightan as Frozen knows this is the chance to make up some ground on the day. He could become world champion, but at the moment, he just needs to keep it on the island and at the moment score good enough points. But Ben at the moment will be finishing ahead of him, but due to a penalty that probably will be coming his way after, the championship lead will get bigger, and you've caught that. Callum gets a penalty which allows Ben to gain another place, at least for the time being. He needs to make sure he uses that strength of not getting penalties to his effect. If Lightan gets one, Ben could be seeing the provisional win, but at the moment no moves. DRS doesn't activate for another 2 laps, and we could be seeing Cal in for his drive through. He would. I'd advise him to serve it now. With tier 2, you never know how quickly a safety car can come out. Lightan, fastest lap as Cal, does unfortunately have to serve his drive through. That promotes Logan up to 6th, Ollie 7th, and Sin up to 8th. Ollie on the back of Logan now for a move. Here he comes then, no competition. Ollie up in the 6th. So the 3 places he gained, he's gained 2 of them, but he is now 3 seconds behind Frozen, who's on the back of Seb. These two have had their coming together and a few battles this season. Seb knows his teammate with low chances of winning the title now. So how does he approach battling Frozen, who's later on the brakes, nearly pushing him through the second chicane, but no moves yet. Ben right on the back of Callum, who's sticking with Lightan. It's just under 10 laps to go then. Lightan trying to break the gap as Seb gets 9 seconds worth of penalties now. And he's holding Frozen up. Frozen's going to use his battery to try and go around the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Will he just let him go? He does. So Seb just sticks behind for now, and Frozen is up in a P4. Now it's Ben versus Frozen, like we saw into turn 1 on the opening lap, as Ben is not quite close enough to Callum for any sort of slip. But Callum, with a loss of the rear, may allow him to gain a bit. Ben has the most battery of anyone in the top 7, but with a second behind, Frozen just stays within the slip. Callum using everything he has to stick with Lightan, but has 3 times less the amount of battery. Callum lagging a bit there. Oh, wait, what? Yeah, definitely lag. Right, DRS activated then, and we will see it next time on the straight. Who do you think is in the best position at the moment, Bram?
It must be
Frozen.
Ooh, Vera Frozen and Ben touch each other, yeah. I think in the best situation to win right now is gonna be Lighten. Lighten's
he's just
still
broken
in
second.
first, no penalties, over a second. I think the Williams driver, he is not the quickest on track, but I think definitely that he will keep it.
So he's broke out of a second ahead of Callum, who's really struggling now. Ben with the DRS and plenty of ERS, pretty much double of Frozen. Can stick ahead, but Frozen's so late on the brakes. And will he try and move into the stadium? Will he stay behind? For now he does. So Ben needs to make sure he stays within a second. It's 15 thousandths now, it's back down to 8. So Ben will get the DRS to stay ahead of Frozen for now, and may even gain. He needs to get Callum so he doesn't battle Frozen. Lightan fastest lap. Frozen using his battery as Seb is coming back into this, but with no ERS himself. He's still gaining in the slip of Frozen. And here we go then, the Alfa Romeo. As you see a bit of lag there. He is gaining on the McLaren. Will he try the outside? No, he backs off just for now. So no overtakes on lap 29 as Frozen nearly runs into the back of Ben again as Sid gets ahead of Oren. They're battling wheel to wheel. As Ollie has caught the back of this train. He's right on it. So don't discount Ollie as well, even with 6 seconds as Ben gets ahead of Callum then for P2. That's been coming for a few laps, and now Ben can breathe a sigh of relief that he doesn't have Frozen right on the back of him. He does, however, not have DRS now because he's 2 seconds behind Lightan. So he needs to clear Callum, who's got no ERS, and Frozen, who's got the same, and Seb, who's got the same. So Ben has 60% to blast to try and pull away. Logan, unfortunately, hasn't got the pace at the moment to catch these 6, but with penalties, he still could gain a few places. As a wheel to wheel there, nearly making contact. Callum, as Ben is really going to need to blast his battery here. Callum is not done with him yet. So here we go then, 2.5 seconds for Lightan, starting lap 30, fastest lap. He's in a world of his own as he's letting these lot battle. Here we go then, Ben with DRS, with no DRS is going to get absolutely eaten up by Callum as flashing ahead. Frozen watching this unfold, but is he close enough to try and get Ben as well? It seems like it's a bit too far behind. Ben can't quite get past the Red Bull, and it seems like with the helping of extra DRS for Callum, he will stay ahead of Ben, and now Ben's going to come under pressure from Frozen. DRS open for him with no battery for the McLaren as Seb is being overtaken by Ollie. They're all using their battery up, and Seb dropping down to 6 now. As Callum really holding them up. Frozen so much more confident on the brakes, needs to make sure he doesn't hit him. We're into the final 6 of the race then, and Ben with his battery, and if he sticks with Callum, will fly back ahead, but Frozen keeping Ben on his toes. And will he try a move here? Is it his move? He's using his battery, and here we go then. Frozen versus Ben. Frozen to the inside. Can he brake later on Ben? Yes, he can. Ben gives him the room. Frozen barely gives him any, and now onto the inside of the stadium. Frozen round the outside of Ben, who's still battling with. Ben leaves in the room, wheel to wheel through the final corner, and it's Frozen who gets ahead. But with Ben's 76%, it will be Ben's turn now as Ollie is on the inside of Ben to get up in a P4. And now who will prevail? Ben with the DRS. Frozen's going to be a sitting duck here, and Ben on the grass now gets ahead of Frozen, who's been absolutely swamped by these two, and Ben with his battery flies back ahead, and Ollie on the inside has to stay behind, but Frozen has dropped down to 5th now as Ben loses it, and now that allows Ollie ahead, and Ben may lose a place to Frozen as well. So all that hard work come undone for Ben, but with DRS he can come back ahead of Frozen. Frozen goes defensive to the inside. Ben has to brake later on the outside, but Frozen brakes equally with him, and now on the inside just gives him enough space to get ahead of Frozen. He stays up into 4th, and Ben has messed that up with the exit of 1. Down to 5th goes the Mercedes. So even after pitting and losing 3 places, Ollie finds himself back ahead of Frozen. No ERS, no ERS, no ERS. 67. I don't know why Ben isn't using a bit more than he needs, but he could come back into it at the end. Lightham with 56. He's well and clear. We've got a yellow. It's Sin Icon, who's lost a bit of his wing, left-hand end plate. Here we go then. Ollie could be seeing P2 here as Sin Icon's out. That's a safety car.
No, Sin.
I don't know if he's crashed on purpose there. Probably has, which is annoying. Hopefully Cal has clipped that. Oren 5 seconds for speeding. Oh, whoa. So, Seb has pitted for softs, Logan's pitted for softs, Oren is pitted for softs, and Cal will also pit for softs.
Why
So
is
we
it
have the
so
fourth.
interesting?
We have the fourth and final safety car of the Grand Prix. Laitan's lead once again has gone. No penalties for him. No penalties for Ben. No penalties for Logan. He could still be seeing a podium here. If you never know. We'll have 1 or 2 laps of racing left in what has been a hugely eventful Mexican Grand Prix. I don't see Frozen winning the race due to his 3-sec. So if he is to outscore Ben by 15 points and finishes second, ignoring fastest lap, Ben needs 4 points, which means he needs 8th. So Ben just has to make sure he doesn't finish last if Frozen doesn't win.
True.
And considering he has no pens, and Oren has 8 seconds worth, Oren could pit again and get rid of that. But considering Seb has 9, I don't see any way at the moment that Frozen will become world champion today. So
Oh,
we'll have to wait for Brazil next week. Yeah, as long as Frozen doesn't win. Oh, here we go then. Frozen's in. Ben is in. The top and Ollie. So the top 2 stay out as it's really getting sunny here. So Laitan and Cal on the mediums. Ollie, Frozen, and Ben have all pitted for the softs. Then this is going to be quite some finish. As Seb will stay how he is in 6th from Logan. The sun is coming out as Oren does pit to get rid of that 5 second. Has to make sure he catches the pack. Will be interesting if Cal gets ahead of him.
Lighten is not happy with something. I do not know what, but he's
Probably
not
Sin
happy
crashing.
with this. Oh, Sin crashing.
Probably. Right, Oren pits then, loses him a place, but with that 5 second, you never know. He could probably finish ahead of Seb, who will at the moment probably finish last. But you never know. One of those could be unfair. So, 9 drivers, and a third of them do not have penalties, and at the moment, that would be the podium of Laitan, Ben, and Logan. So Logan, if Ben is to be penalised, you never know, could be sitting P2 here in the final result. As yeah, the top 7 have caught the safety car, or are about to. So that leaves Cal and Oren. Oren needs to push a tiny bit. The safety car will be in next lap to leave 2 laps of racing. So no more DRS means they're all going to be blasting their ERS, and who's going to make the most of it? Ollie with 6 seconds doesn't see himself on the podium at the moment. Frozen could still be seeing himself on the podium. If Ben gets a penalty, he needs to be 3 ahead of Logan. But if Frozen finishes where he is or lower, no matter where Ben is, the championship can't be won. But unless Ben doesn't score, which means he would have to retire, and Frozen finishes 3rd, that's the only way I can see it. But let's hope that doesn't happen. You can see in the background, Callum will catch them and Oren should catch them. And I just wonder how much pressure will be going through Callum's mind as he's got, what, everyone behind him on softs, while he's on 11 lap old mediums, and Laitan as well. So Laitan is going to be praying that Callum holds them up as much as possible so he can hold on to this win. He's done nothing wrong all race as Laitan. But now he's really got to push for these final 2 laps to win the Mexican Grand Prix. And we're into those tense final few moments before the restart. Oren is going to take a bit of life out of his tyres after catching. Seb has to save a bit more of his battery. Everyone else is good. Right then. 2 laps of racing to decide the winner of the Mexican Grand Prix. It was exactly the same as the United States Grand Prix last time out that saw Sin Icon win out due to Frozen's 3 second. Well, Sin Icon has crashed and caused this final safety car right here. And now Laitan has to make sure he gets the best restart possible, as there's a little bit of lag there. They have been warned they need to speed up for these restarts and make sure not to go as slowly. There may be future rules implemented, but at the moment Laitan, keeping them single file, will have to get a good launch ahead of Callum, who's right on the back as Ollie and Frozen and Ben all get ready to restart this Grand Prix as Laitan goes wide. And now, for the final time in this race, we are back underway racing as Laitan is ahead of Callum, and Ollie immediately is going to try and challenge, but here comes Frozen as well, and here comes Ben94 once again with a perfect restart to absolutely fly past Frozen, who is not using his battery. Let's take a note of that. He'll come into it at the end, but Ben is ahead of Frozen and Callum is ahead of Logan. So into turn one, then down the inside is Ollie on Callum, wheel to wheel Callum, back round the outside is Ollie to get back in a second. What a move, and now Ben is capitalising and Callum is falling down the order massively. After 3 corners, he's already down to 5th. Frozen covers the inside. Callum back round the outside of Frozen. Frozen breaks later, and Callum can't really do anything to defend as Frozen is up in a 4th on the inside. Seb tries to switch, and Callum avoiding it, and now Callum is just dropping ever so further down into P6, and now he stays ahead of the other Callum. Logan watching this all unfold. So now, Laitan versus Ollie. Ollie with 6 seconds, can't really do much, so we could be seeing Ben as we have a yellow. Callum's out! He's out of the race. After so much this race, he is out, and that does mean, I think, as Ollie takes the lead ahead of Laitan into the stadium. Here comes Ben ahead of Laitan, round the outside on the softs. Laitan can't really do anything to defend it, and now they're ghosting, and Ben stays ahead of Laitan just about. Frozen pushing Laitan through the corner. Ollie takes the lead as we head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, and with 8 remaining, that means the championship I don't think can be won today. But now on the straight, they're all going to be blasting their battery. Here comes Seb, here comes Frozen, Laitan, Ben on Ollie. Ollie's got no ERS left. Here comes Ben into turn 1. Can he brake later? He's going to try and send it, but he's not quite close enough to Ollie to try and make a move. Ben once again loses the rear, stays ahead of Laitan. Now it's Frozen's turn to try and get Laitan, who loses the rear on exit. Frozen sees a gap. Laitan goes to defend it and stays ahead. Here we go. Ben for the race lead on the inside of Ollie. Ollie breaks later. Round the outside, the Haas versus the Mercedes. The Williams versus the McLaren. Ollie gets back into the lead ahead of Ben, and Frozen getting tangled with Laitan there into turn 5 and 6. Frozen banging wheels with the Williams, who's lost the win again. And Frozen back up into 3rd. Ben94 trying to challenge Ollie. As long as he stays within a second, he will beat him if he gets a 5-second time penalty. And at the moment, that is looking for it. Ben will get a penalty potentially. Frozen and Seb now gets ahead of Laitan. Laitan could still win this, but sending it is Logan now on the inside of Laitan. You never know. Logan, that could have been the race winning move. You never know, but we're going to have to see how it is through the final corner then. Who's going to win the Mexican Grand Prix? At the moment, it's going to be Ben94 to cross the line and win. Frozen 2nd. Here comes Logan. It's P2 for Logan, P3 for Laitan. And with Ben's potential time penalty, Logan could have just won this.
Logan! Let's go. Championship has not been decided today. That would go onward to Brazil, but a probably penalty towards a Dutch driver of Ben means that Logan is potentially our race winner.
If Ben does get a penalty for what happened at turn 1, you are seeing in P2, the one not raising the trophy, Logan. He won in Austria. He has potentially won in Mexico. Amazing. The championship, I don't think, has been won though, but it's tier 2, you never know. You got to feel for Laitan, but he will still finish 2nd if Ben gets a penalty. The race-winning move happened at the stadium from Logan and Laitan if Ben is to get a penalty. And we'll just check now. Frozen. Wait, if Ben gets a 5-set, where does that put him? It'll put him P4 behind Frozen. So Frozen will move up to 3rd. Ben would be 4th. Yeah. So yeah, the championship has not been won. Frozen gets the fastest lap, so he would be 4 points ahead of Ben. No, Frozen will have to wait until Brazil to become world champion. But what a race. What an absolutely emphatic race where it saw Logan in P7 the entire time, just off the pace. And then right at the end, he's come in clutch with no penalties. And if Ben is to get a penalty, he has just won.
And Leighton, he was leading for more than 60% of the race, probably lost the race in the last stadium section. You need to feel
Oh,
bad for this man.
I actually didn't realise because Ben was ahead but had a penalty. Ollie was ahead but had 6 seconds. Frozen was ahead but had 3 seconds. I actually thought Lightan was out of it, and then I realised all 3 of them were screwed, and Lightan was still 4th. But then Logan right at the end comes in, and obviously there were a few moves where the guy on the outside did get forced onto the curb and maybe off that might get reported. You never know what could happen if we miss something. But what a race. I was thinking 13, well, there's going to be less carnage. But I didn't know that would make up for more racing. Holy... Wow, that's up there. And let's get the top 3 in.
Are we getting Ben in if he's probably
Yeah,
getting a
Ben,
penalty?
Logan, Lightan.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to have to invite this one of Lightan's. And then Logan. Invite the top 3. The first one to join is the provisional race winner. Have you included your audio, Ben?
Yeah, I have.
Alright. Logan's joined. I'll just ask him the same.
Oh, oh,
You include your audio, Logan?
yeah.
Just let me know when you have. Okay, right. We'll just wait to see. Actually, we'll wait to see if Lightan joins. He'll have to join on his other accounts. That might take a minute. Yeah, quite nervous scenes at the moment because we don't actually know really who's won. But at the moment, we have to take it from the game result. But we will get further into it. We've got a lot of people watching. I've just realised. Hope you've all enjoyed that race. That was absolutely amazing. But we have to start off calm and collected. Ben, right? What a race! I mean, you started where? Where
Yeah.
did you qualify? 8th?
Yeah.
And you were wheel to wheel with the top 2 into turn 1. I mean, it must have been some start, but unfortunately, what happened into turn 1? Just take us through it.
I didn't pay attention to the racing line or my braking point, and I just straight lined. I turned in as soon as possible. Even I was even going as far as cutting the first corner to avoid mayhem, but yeah, then I hit Frozen. I spun. I went into Ollie, damaged a little bit of my front wing, but the game didn't even show me until I had to pit. And from then on, it was just straightforward, save the car after save the car, and by just pure chance and luck, I managed to win. Well, I say win.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a win after having taken Frozen out. So yeah, I don't think this will stand. In fairness, I don't even think I'm supposed to be in these interviews because if I do have a 5-second time penalty or whatever penalty I have, I'll be kicked off. So wouldn't be the first time a Dutchie will be kicked off the podium. So, but it's a real shame,
So,
especially after this result.
You went into turn 1, spun Frozen, I think, with you kind of dropped down to 6 due to it. That allowed Lightan to kind of go around the outside and stay clear. So you were down to 6, and then yeah, getting no penalties, staying out of trouble from then on. You had good pace to stick with the top guys, and then right at the end, pitted onto the softs, optimised, tried to have a go. You had so much ERS at one point compared to no one around you, but yet you didn't use it. What happened there? Like with, I think it was like Taze and Ollie and Seb and something, and Callum. You kept losing out at the exit of 1.
Yeah, there was I actually constantly lost it at multiple points on the circuit, but turn 1 was not one of them. But especially at that moment when I made a double overtake, then it happened. Yeah, my ERS management was actually, I didn't have any problem with it. Yeah, I just only used it when I really needed to, and when I saw that I wasn't gonna use my ERS for the lap because I could, it's better to save for later. And I saw they were very close. So even if I use my ERS, they would fly past me. So I didn't use it. If I know I'll lose, then there's no point.
So you admitted fault. You apologised to Taze. He respected it. So it's good to see the sportsmanship. But yeah, if that is to be a 5 sec, it would drop you down to 4. We can't obviously confirm it at the moment, but it's pretty self-explanatory, which means at the moment he's finished 2nd. He won in Austria, and Logan, you may have just won the Mexican Grand Prix.
Or is
Just
it
tell
like
us your emotions.
Or is it like
No, we think you have just made, on the last lap into the last sector, you made the race-winning move to get ahead of Lightan.
He's complaining that I forced him off, apparently. I need to have a look at it back.
That's what I was on about.
And that's what. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
At the
I'm happy with
that's
the
what I'm saying.
podium.
At the moment.
I'm happy with the podium because
Hmm.
I hate this track. Mexico is a track I hate. I didn't even think I was going to be racing tonight. I can't lie. I've said all season. Not gonna lie. With the races I might have been missing, I had time to pretty much perfect it. And if I'm going to be real, because I hate Japan, I hate Mexico, but I raced tonight. I mean, whew, I mean, it was a great race, but look, I did not have the pace to win that tonight. But if I do win, then I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say to him.
Yeah, heart goes out to Lightan. He did nothing wrong all race, and then because he didn't pit for softs at the end, he got absolutely taken by a lot of drivers right on that final lap. Still had a shot at the win, but then yeah, you snatched it right at the end with a move that I'm sure Lightan may even send in. But for now, you're second. No penalties once again, a massive strength, especially around Mexico. So for now, well done on the podium. Because I don't think you caused anything else, did you? You were
No,
kind of just on your
no,
own for a lot of it.
it was just that I screwed my whole race in general.
Oh yeah, why?
I,
Yeah, why
yeah.
did you pit like lap 4?
Wing damage. I spun.
Oh, on your own.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
the
okay.
Estes?
Yeah, I forgot to change my. No, it wasn't. It was turn 1, 2, 3. I think it was exit at turn 3.
Oh, there. Okay.
And
Well,
I got
everyone
wing damage.
made a mistake. Even Frozen, he lost it where Magnussen did and somehow didn't get wing damage. But yeah, for now, well done on gaining a heap of points right at the end. It would have been a simple P7. Oh, and can I ask, you know Cal, the McLaren,
Yeah.
did you see what happened to him right at the end in the
Yes, I
S's?
did.
What happened to him?
He basically took too much curb and it just spun around when it's at
Oh,
the
so it was on
curb
his own.
where he goes. Yeah, it's at the curb where you go
Okay.
over it, and if you take too much of it, then there's a bump and it
Yeah.
just sends you around and you're trapped on it
Considering
basically.
he was like in between you and Oren, I thought something
Yeah.
happened with either you or him. But if he lost it
Mhm.
on his own, then it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was.
After that drive through, his race never really looked the same. So yeah, Lighton hasn't joined for interviews, so I think that'll be it. Bram, any questions for the top two at the moment?
Dan, do you
Oh, yeah.
feel like I don't know what the gap will be after this race. Do you
Too much.
think it's all over, or do you still have a little bit of hope in yourself that you can maybe do it?
No, I think it's over. I'm just gonna do the next races for fun and hope to stay in P2. That's my main goal. If I do get first by some miracle, then well, I'm gonna be ecstatic. But the way Tace, well, his pace is there's no match for me. And if I keep making mistakes like this with the penalties, then it's not gonna get me anywhere either. So, but I don't think that's gonna happen in the next few races. But I just need to get some more decent results, and I'll be fine. But I don't think I'll be P1.
You
Yeah,
can still
that's-
hold your ground strong and maintain runner-up in the championship, as it seems like obviously Chad's not racing today or next week. Lightan seems a bit too far at the moment, so it seems like second will still be strong for you. But yeah, well done for now. Well done, Logan. Well done, everyone
Cheers.
who did finish that race. And yeah, that has been the Tier 2 Season 7 Mexican Grand Prix. I've been F1 Union. Bram, any final word?
Good night. Don't forget to brush your teeth, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week for round 20 of 22 at the Brazilian Grand Prix.